Rocks Off MUZKAST Experience. Aaron, Dave, and Brian. Aaron, Dave, Brian.
Yes.
Everybody knows each other now. It's like the Brady Bunch thing on my computer here with all the different boxes.
Yeah. Even though it looks like winter here, in Sacramento, it's supposed to be spring, and with spring comes baseball. And so we're going to talk some MLB, kind of give predictions and what's coming. And my son, who's been begging me for like 2 months to come on the show, I said, hey,
I really have
for baseball. Yes. And so,
well, we're booked up a lot, David.
Yeah. and Brian, when you emailed me, you're like, let's talk baseball too, not just dead center baseball. And that's
absolutely
great, because I love baseball. Before we give our predictions and talk about upcoming season, is there one person in the last 5 years of the Hall of Fame voting that you think belongs in the Hall of Fame off the top of your head? Like, hey,
that hasn't made it. That hasn't made it.
That hasn't made it.
Oh, okay. Go on, David.
Me?
I mean, the other
I'm
David.
I'm trying to think.
I got one.
I'm going to say Pete Rose.
Well, he's not in the last 5 years.
Oh, I didn't catch it in the last 5 years. I just caught who's in, who's not in.
Yeah.
Oh, in the last 5 years.
Yeah. And so I mean,
I think Prince Fielder should have more of a chance. I don't think he would get in, but I think he should probably get a little bit more.
I'm talking about guys who've been voted on, David. And
yeah, Prince Fielder was voted on, like, I think he was voted like last year or something like that.
No, no, because he's still playing for Toronto.
No, he had to retire.
Oh, he did?
He had to medically retire. He was on my team, man, the Rangers.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a gut punch. That was a gut punch.
By the way, before we keep going, Brian, I'm going to have to get you an Oklahoma hat.
No.
That Texas hat's not working with me.
Bro.
That Texas...
No.
Is it, I do have to ask you a question. Is it coincidence that the Texas Longhorn colors are the same colors as Whataburger?
That is, I would say this. I would say that we've been around a lot longer than Whataburger. And I think Whataburger's orange is closer to Tennessee Volunteer orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's also not the same. Tennessee Texas colors are not the same.
No, they're different colored oranges.
It's a different hue of orange.
But
yes.
But see what it is you don't see that Texas orange worn often, because they go like 1-5 in their conference every year, or 1-6. So you see that Tennessee orange a lot more often.
Yeah.
Tennessee had a good year last year. I'll give you credit, but Texas is on the rebound. We had a very bad decade, I guess you could say. So we'll see. I think things are looking up.
That's true.
Hey, Aaron, I'm glad you found someone else to insult the guests while Patrick's out.
No, look, trust me. I've been on these before with some guys at a radio station in Oklahoma. I can take it and give it. I mean, hey, we beat them 49-0 last year.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That was a slaughter.
Yeah.
But hey, your question about the Hall of Fame, I'm going to throw a guy out there, Billy Wagner.
Okay.
Billy Wagner. He's a lefty closer. When you look at his stats, and they just line up. The guy was a stud, he played with multiple teams, and dude's a stud. I think he's got a chance to get in.
Is Trevor Hoffman in the Hall?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes.
Yeah. And I would, the guy I'm going to think of is Kurt Schilling. I mean, there wasn't a much better postseason. And I know the Hall of Fame's not about the postseason, but there's never a guy that just, he brought it every day. He made his team better. And you knew when he took the mound that as a hitter, you were in for it. And you knew as a team, you're like, we got a great chance to win because this guy's on the mound.
I mean, think about it. In 2001 in the World Series against the Yankees, it was pretty much Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling against the Yankees. It wasn't the Diamondbacks and the Yankees. It was Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. I mean, I think those guys pitched like 6 of the 7 games, like with how many innings they put in. And then, I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I the bloody sock, go in the Yankee Stadium with the bloody sock and just throw a gem, just make everybody be quiet,
Yes.
I'm with
So
you, dude. I think he should be in. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think it should be in. All right, on to this season. So I'm gonna start with my son. Who's making it in on the NL side, the National League side?
I got the
So we have
Savannah
6
Bananas winning it all.
Okay. Savannah Bananas. It's a baseball baseball
they're
team.
like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of fun, you know.
Yeah.
And
They're coming to Sacramento on my
but-
birthday, but I can't go because I got a tournament. I'm like trying to text my coach, hey, can I miss that weekend? He's like, no, it's an important tournament. I was like, but it's my birthday.
Well, you can
Nope.
give your ticket to me, and I'll go for you. All right, I'll
Yeah.
take care of it.
It's Facebook Live
For you, brother.
Facebook Live for you.
So-
I'll give up my time
Um,
so you don't have to miss out.
All right.
How about this?
So
I'll
who's
give
your
you
6? Who's your 6 in the National League?
Padres,
It's
Phillies, probably Cardinal. No, I'll go with Cubs.
okay.
Cubs. What else am I?
You had to do 6, huh?
Yeah, there's 6 in the playoffs.
There's there's 2 wild cards. I'll throw in because I threw in the Phillies. I got throw in the Braves. Got throw in the. I don't like saying this. I have to throw in the Dodgers. I don't like saying it. They got the best payroll and still somehow won 1 ring in the last 10 years.
Shots
then
fired.
I'll throw in the Cardinals.
Okay, so you don't have the Mets, huh?
No,
I know it's tough. Okay. All right.
That's interesting.
With Edwin
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz pretty much screwing himself. That doesn't like you're trying to find somebody to fill. Probably he's a top 3 closer in the game, and you're trying to fulfill that role. Unless you get somebody else that's as good, but you're not you're not going to have Edwin Diaz quality just sit in your bullpen and be like, oh yeah, Edwin's out here. You go finish off the rest of the game. Like you don't have that sitting in your bullpen.
So Brian, who do you got? National League.
Okay, I got this. I'm gonna say, man, here's the deal. Dodgers are probably still win the West because I think their pitching overall is going to be a little bit better than the Padres. I think the Padres are a team that's got a lot of hype and got a big names, but they, once you really start looking after their starters, they're kind of little shallow, little shaky. So one of them will win it. One's the wild card. I think the Central, I'm going to roll with I think the Cardinals will repeat the Central, and I think the Brewers are going to be in there too.
That's your sleeper? Is the Brewers? That's your sleeper?
Yeah, I think that, well, there's 2 wild cards, right?
Yeah.
In the East, I'm going to go with the Braves. I think the Braves are still sneaky, really sneaky good. And I think the Phillies will kind of step back. They won 86 games last year, and they just got hot at the end, to make the run to the World Series. And I don't know. I'm not going to give up on the Mets. I think the Mets, though, when you can roll out Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, and they got that new Japanese pitcher who supposedly has just got some nasty stuff. I know they lost. They'll probably make a trade, in July and go get somebody that can kind of tighten down the end. But I don't know how many teams that is. Dodgers, Braves, Padres, Cardinals, the Brewers, and I'm missing one more.
You said the Mets.
Did I say the Mets? Yeah, I think the
So
Mets
that's
will
six.
be.
That's
So there's
six.
6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had the same list you do. The Dodgers, Padres. I'm not sure who's going to win that. I kind of agree with you that the Dodgers have more pitching than the Padres, and they've been able to score runs. So hold on, David, real quick. The Cardinals, Mets, Braves, and Phillies. I don't like choosing 3 teams from the same division because they usually beat each other up.
Yep.
But this new schedule, it's not division heavy, so
That's
they're going to play a lot, and they're going to play a lot of games against the other division. Like the Dodgers did real well last year, but they beat up on the West, and I don't know how that's going to be this year.
Yeah,
and
when you
look at some of these road trips that teams are taking, like they're out 12 games. That's going to be hard at some of these younger teams because you're out on the road for almost 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. And, just trying to, you get in a losing streak on that road trip. It's hard if you don't have a veteran starter to help you win one. Go ahead, David.
Well, so I think that, the Dodgers did good in the West, but I mean, you got to take like 10 or 12 games, off this. I mean, because you walk into Arizona and Colorado and beat up on a team that's been rebuilding for ever and a day. It's like with the Cardinals and the Cubs. You got to take away, 10, 12, 15 games because you walk in Cincinnati and you walk into Pittsburgh, slap them around for 3 games and walk out. You could play. You could probably bring your AAA affiliate up for those 3 games and probably walk away with 1, if not 2. It's not fair to be playing these teams, and then you wipe off a team that the best player is some 35-year-old guy that had a decent career, like Joey Votto and the Cushion for the Pirates and the Reds, and you slap them around for 3 games, and then you're like, we now have a very commanding lead in our division. I was like, did you not see who you just played? Like, I'm a Red Sox fan. That was how I felt when Baltimore was just abysmal. Like when I would see, scores, when I saw scores of like 7-2, 8-1, 10-0, I'm like, and my buddies are Red Sox fans. I'm like, yeah, we won. I'm like, did you not see who we played? Like their best player was Chris Davis, who was probably like batting like half of his weight. Like, so
yeah.
Let me
the schedule. You're right. I was going to say the scheduling is a major thing. Like you said, the Dodgers and the Padres were beaten up on Arizona and Colorado. I think Arizona might be a few games better. And I think on the other side, you're right. When Pittsburgh and the Reds, I mean, they're not good. So that's a good point. And with the balanced schedule now, it's going to change up some things. So instead of a team playing a division, 18 or 19 games, I mean, come on. That's like if you
it's like if you look at Houston, right? It's like if you look at Houston. If you look at Houston's, we won like 112 games. 12 of those games were against the AAA affiliate of the MLB. Like, You
mean the A's?
A's,
yeah.
Or
you play against like the 2 best players in all of 2 of the best players in all of baseball, and no other surrounding cast in Anaheim. Like you're not playing, like if you play like with the schedule, you're playing a balanced schedule. I think that there will be a lot of shakeups because you're not just gonna walk in. You're not gonna walk in and be like, oh, okay, we have to face Madison Bumgarner in Arizona that's been pitching, since he could walk for the had that great years with the Giants. Now just slumming in Arizona, off wheeling and all that. So let's just knock him out in 3 innings and coast for the rest of the game. Like. With a balanced schedule, you're gonna have to play a full 9. I don't think there's gonna be any necessarily easy games, but every once in a while you might, get a 2 game, weekend series with, the Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Oakland or whoever, and you're just like, okay, maybe we could, throw the do the opener thing like Tampa Bay used to do back in the day. Do the opener, don't even start a good starter against these guys, do the opener, let your bullpen guys get in-game innings, stuff like that.
Yep.
But with this now.
Let's move on to the American League. We'll come back with the who we think is going to be in the NL pennant and everything in a minute. But let's move on to the American League. Brian, we'll start with you. Who do you got going in the playoffs for the American League?
Okay. In the West, I'm going to have the Astros winning it. But just like David said, they're not going to win 105 games. I don't think that happens because they're not going to be able to beat up on Texas, Arizona. Texas, Oakland and California as much, the Angels. So I think California Angels, wow, there's a flashback. I mean, Los Angeles Angels.
I watched Angels in the outfield the other day, fly Eagles.
Exactly. So I think the AL West, because see, I'm a Rangers fan, so I know I really think Texas has really improved, and they might be actually a little sneaky good. I'm not saying I think they may have an outside shot of winning 86 games and maybe sneaking in as a wild card. I'm just saying it's possibility. If I'm going to lay down money, I'm going to say 78 to 80 wins if I was going to bet. But anyway, I think the West is the Astros, and I think Seattle will win a wild card spot. I think they're pretty good. And then in the Central, the team that always surprises me is Cleveland. It's like they almost trade people off and they are able to rebuild or have young guys come up. They play well, so I think Cleveland will win the Central. And I think in the East, I don't think Boston's going to be very good. Unless Chris Sale can really come back to Chris Sale form. We have like a top 10 ace type pitcher. And I hate the Yankees. So
okay, we agree on something.
Say Yankees, but Tampa Bay is always sneaky good. So I'm going to say Yankees and the Rays are going to come out of there. So let's see, 2, 3.
You need one more. You got 5.
Yeah,
One more.
I guess I'll take the White Sox again. I mean, they got some offense and they can score, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm going to go here. And David, you finished last. But the Yankees, and I wanted to pick Seattle so bad to win that division, but they were, they lost the division by 16 games last year. And I don't care how much, you can sign 2 or 3 Babe Ruths in free agency, but 16 games is still a lot. So I'm going to go Houston with you, and then I'm going to go Cleveland until someone beats them, because they just keep reloading every year. And then I'm going to go probably Toronto and Tampa Bay like last year. And Seattle's going to make a wild card too. So, I wanted to pick the White Sox or the Twins. I just don't, we'll see. And again, the Yankees, the Blue Jays and the Rays are not going to be playing 21 games against each other. It's going to be like 16. And I watched some of those games, super talented teams, and they just beat each other up, and that's not happening. So I think this, but I think Seattle's going to give Houston a chance. Thank you, David. A chance, a run for the money, and that's going to be close. I think both those teams are going to win 92, 93 games, and it's going to be super, super close. So
I agree,
David,
with that.
you're up. You're 6 teams.
You know that we kind of skipped Dave for the NL, right?
Dave's fine.
So I got the Rangers actually clipping up a wild card spot.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I got Houston winning the division. Because I think with Texas, with Evaldi being that old guy in the starting, he'll give you a lot of good innings. Because I loved him in Boston. When I heard they signed Texas, I was like, oh God, why can't we just So I got Texas, I got Seattle. I think Julio Hernandez or Fernandez, whatever his name is gonna spark that young team, and they're gonna just ball out, and everyone's gonna be like, where the hell is this? Or what the heck was this?
All right, 3 more.
So I got the White Sox winning their division. As good as Cleveland is, I just think that Chicago has too much firepower, and they got pretty good pitching too. And then I would love to say my Sox, diehard Sox fan, with everybody deciding to be like, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna use these guys to get more money, like Bogart's going to San Diego. I don't think we're gonna win, but I hope that we at least have a decent year. But I will have that team in the East, that team that pays a lot of money. I will not.
Okay.
Yeah, I will not say the name.
One more.
And you know what? I'm gonna take a sleeper because everyone sleeps on them. Take the Orioles. Orioles. because they are
Isn't there a reason that everybody sleeps on them?
Well, they won 83
mean,
games. They won 83 games last year, and they're only going to improve. So
that
whole division is tough.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's tough.
I think of the AL East like in football terms as the SEC, just a bunch of talent just beating up on each other, and then you know whoever somehow has the best crop of talent decides to come out scathed, and then just gets fed to some team like Houston that just is like, oh, we have a an easy division, win it by 15 games, and then we just slap you around for 5 games and we go on to the series, like. But now that the division play is shorter, I don't think that's going to happen. Like it wouldn't surprise me if 3 teams out of the AL East end up making it. Like I think
we got 3 teams from the West making it. So
no,
we'll see what happens there. You said Rangers, Houston, Seattle, and
I said Seattle might have a shot.
Oh, okay. So who's your 6 teams then? Rangers, Houston, White Sox.
Then I'll go Cleveland. I'll probably go Cleveland.
Okay, so Cleveland. Okay, so we're gonna stay in the AL here. Who's your top 2 teams? Who's making the AL pennant?
I hate to say it, probably gonna be Houston. And it's probably gonna be that team in the East. They're just too good.
The Yankees, huh?
I'm not saying that name. I might as well get struck by lightning. They're too good. They're 2 good teams. A lot of pitching, a lot of firepower. I just don't see them really taking a step off. If anything, putting down that gas pedal even more. Aaron Judge got paid, so he don't really have to he has to prove a little bit more. Last season. No, people might think, oh, that was just a fluke season. Like he had one good year. Like he has a little bit more to prove. And, he's got some youngins that he might be like, hey, guess what? Hop on the gravy train and come with me. Let's go.
All right, Brian, who do you got making the AL?
I'm going to say Houston will not be there in the final 2. I think I'm going to pick Seattle as the wild card to make a run to the final. And I think they're going to be playing gosh, I hate to say the Yankees like you, but probably the Yankees. But because I'm trying to think that are going to make moves, because what we see right now, roster wise, is not going to be the same when it gets to October. Usually teams are going to make a trade. So but
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel like the Seattle would give off that 2014 Kansas City Royals vibe.
Mm-hmm.
That scrappy team that barely gets in and then just runs the table with everybody.
I mean, last year they played in the playoffs when they played Houston. They played them very well. Houston had some big wins in the bottom of the 9th, and they've kind of, it was crushing wins, like just the gut punch when you give up the 3-run bomb in the bottom and you lose, right? I think they've got a young team. And I really like their pitchers. You got what's his name, Castillo, who was with the Reds, right? He's a starter over there. Yeah. You've got Robbie Ray, who's when he's on, he can be tough. And then you got a couple of young guys like Kirby, and I forgot the other young guy. So and their bullpen is pretty good. So and like you said, Julio Rodriguez is a future up and coming MVP guy. I just think it's hard to win, man. It's hard to win in baseball, and Houston is loaded with top talent when it comes to almost every position. But I just expect at some point, they're going to have a little step back, and then with the East, like I'm saying, and trust me, dude, I hate the Yankees, but when you can roll Garrett Cole, their problem will be health. If Luis Severino can come back to like 3 years ago, he's a stud. And then you got Nestor Cortez as your 4th or 5th. And they got Rodon, who when Rodon is pitching, he's a top 10 guy when he's on. So they're going to be hard to beat. That's my team.
I'm gonna go with New York and Seattle also.
All right.
I kind of want to choose Cleveland, but I just they really do well in the regular season, and they just they just seem to not get it done in the postseason, and until they do, I'm not going to trust them. But I think Seattle, is really, really good. And once you get to that bullpen of Seattle, forget it. It's like that Rays bullpen they've had probably the last 5 years ago, where, once they get in the sixth inning, they just bring out guys back to back. And so
Yeah.
Brian, who do you got in the NL making the championship?
I'm going to go with the Dodgers, and I'm going to go with the Braves. And one of the things I want to talk about with the Dodgers real quick, I did mention, I think they lost a lot with Trey Turner leaving. And so guys are going to have to step up. That's a 100-run guy, 100 RBI guy, solid defender at shortstop. And their staff is, how long can Kershaw keep going? Julio Urias is really good. But remember, Walker Buehler is coming back in the
probably
midsummer.
not till late July, early August.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, something like that, right? So let's say August, September. Well, that dude's a great pitcher, so you get him back, and if he can get up to speed,
it takes like
there's your staff. There's the reason why I think they can roll through. And then I picked the Braves again. I think the Braves are going to be back to where they were a couple of years ago.
I can't ignore them. I mean, the Mets made all the splash with the signings, but the Braves sometimes, they get a guy from the like AA comes up, and he's the guy in the bullpen that goes 2 innings a game and strikes everybody out, and no one heard of the guy at all. So I'm right with you. I got the Dodgers and the Braves also.
Super shocker. Super shocker.
And so, but again, it's not going to surprise me if it's some other team. That's what's great about this baseball season. There's 4 or 5 teams that can represent the NL in the World Series and all that. So, David, I need, we're running along here, but David, I need your picks for the NL.
So I'm going to go Padres or go Phillies.
Okay.
I just think
Padres.
So
they're going at it again.
Going at it again.
Okay.
Going at it again.
All right. I'm gonna go that the Braves end up in the World Series from the NL, and I'm gonna go that the Yankees make it from
that name should
from
be
the
the household.
And so I got the Braves and the Yankees in the World Series. Brian, who do you got in the World Series?
I'm gonna go Braves, and I can't say Yankee. I'm gonna say Seattle.
Okay, great. That's great. Both of those crowds will be electric.
Oh, they will.
That would be some great theater. I think the Yankees would be loud. I mean, any team that make the World Series, how loud they are. But I think, they might set some noise records, decimal levels. David, who do you got making the World Series?
Padres, and I'll probably take. So I've said Houston and Yankees. I'll probably Padres, Yankees.
Padres, Yankees. All right.
Yankees.
It pains me to say this, but I think they are the best team in baseball, and I think the Yankees win the World Series.
Wow.
So yeah.
I
would not be surprised if somebody else.
I'm going
did.
Braves.
Braves, okay. Brian's got Braves.
Braves.
I got the Phillies. I got the Phillies.
The
Padres.
Padres pulling it off.
And the dirtiest player ever in baseball finally gets a ring. Manny Machado.
Who's that? Well,
but
he's one of the best.
No. He's one of the dirtiest.
But he's one of the best.
Yeah, he is great.
Yes,
Brian, I do have a question for you. Do you think that Julio Hernandez reminds you of like a young Acuna, like when Acuna was just coming up, like that spark plug, like Julio, like reminds you of Acuna just a little bit, like the AL version of Acuna?
Yeah, I think that's a good comp. I think it's Julio Rodriguez. I get confused too. It's Julio Rodriguez.
I know.
Yeah, he's man, that's a good question. I'm trying to think who he reminds me of now you say this, because I mean, he's fast. I don't know who's faster, him or Acuna. And with the some of these new rules in baseball, he might still 35. In fact, I'm going to predict this so we can mark it down on this date.
Okay, go ahead.
Ronald Acuna will win the MVP in the National League, and he's going to go for 40-40. He's going to hit 40 homers and 40 steals.
Wow.
Book that. I'm telling you, he will be the guy this year to do that. And but Julio Rodriguez has a lot of that type of player. So we'll see. I mean,
well,
if he can,
ESPN or
his
Fox
problem is he swings and
have
misses
Jose
too much.
Canseco at all the games.
What?
Well, they have Jose Canseco at all the games, you know, to see when he does it.
Right.
You know,
I know,
like
right?
they had. Remember when Ricky Harrison was breaking the stolen base? They had Lou Brock or whatever, or whoever was the guy before. They had him at all the games.
Right.
And so yeah, that would be great. Jose Canseco at the games, watching until he breaks it. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're right. And if he basically going to win the MVP if he gets 40-40. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if the team wins 95 games, it's a lock, you know.
I feel like if Seattle wins 90, I think the average wins to make the playoffs right around 92, 93. I think that's probably going to be like the high. If you win 98, congratulations, you won 5 extra games.
86 got you in last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, with the new construction, you might, you know, maybe that might go down, maybe it might go up a little bit, but you might have those teams that are, you know, play the, you know, the teams that are at the bottom of the barrel. So you might have, you know, a really good Phillies team beating up on Pittsburgh again. You know, so I think it's probably going to be that 90-92 range that everyone makes. I think everyone in the playoffs will probably break 90, except for maybe one team out of the NL or the AL West. The NL West, the NL East, and the AL West. I think one of the teams will make it out of there with like 88. 86,
so one of the teams playing baseball this season is going to win the World Series. Is what David's trying to say, Aaron.
Yeah. I you know, so
I
love talking baseball.
Too.
Hey, listen, have you checked out the Nolan Ryan documentary on Netflix?
Yes.
So good.
It is great.
So good. Probably one of the best players in baseball ever.
Yes, there's no doubt.
Now I'll put that to a back seat to the 30 for 30 they did on McGuire and Sosa. That 30 for 30 was amazing. Just talking.
Yeah, but here's a difference between Nolan Ryan and McGuire and Sosa is as far as I know, Ryan wasn't juiced.
True. No. But as Tom Glavine and Greg Magus told us, chicks did the long ball, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I know I'm young, but my dad raised me on the old stuff. Like yesterday I picked up an old school Bo Jackson Kansas City Royals shirt for like $10 at Shields. And my friend was like, "Why'd you get a Bo Jackson shirt?" I was like, "Did you not see him play baseball? Like,
did you not see him play football?
Yeah,
that guy's badass."
And I hear he does those like bow and arrow contests or whatever, and does he? Yeah, he just wins them too. So
all right, we've gone long here.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, David, for talking baseball. I love it. And so we'll be right back on the Rock Salt MUZKAST Experience.